Hello, my name is Victor Nagy. I am the product manager of the environments group, and this is the delivery part of our release kickoff. I expect to have an amazing milestone in 17.1 because finally we stopped running after a bug backlog. We will try to communicate to our users when we don't think we want to fix a bug because of its minor impact or other reasons. And instead, we want to focus on some high value features that we're waiting for a long, long time in our backlog, some of them. First, we are going to continue improving the Kubernetes UI integration within GitLab. And in the coming milestone, actually the current milestone, we plan to ship a log stream view into GitLab. This means that today we have what you can see here, basically. This is the view that already exists, and we will add this view logs button over there, and we will add a similar view logs button to the pod detail view as well. This will allow users to stream the logs of a specific pod or a specific container within the pod. The streaming view, what you can see now on the screen, it does not have any integration and won't have any integration immediately with the observability features of GitLab, but clearly there's a possibility for collaboration with the monitoring team, and we are discussing this with Sasha, how and could be better leverage each other's features here. And for example, the logs that we stream here could go immediately to the log collector backend for historical log collection. And similarly, we could get historical logs for a specific pod from these pages. So this is the first item. The idea here is that this should help users to troubleshoot issues in their clusters without leaving GitLab. As a second step, we plan an event stream as well to be added to the details view here at the bottom, but that's likely in a future milestone. Besides the log streaming view, we would like to improve this UI with a tree-based view as well, specifically for Flux users in this case. Here we are getting some inspiration from Argo CD that is very much liked for its UI, and we would like to show a similar UI for our users. This has been validated many months ago and received really positive feedback in terms of having a better UI for Kubernetes than a simple roles-based, resource-based list of cluster resources. The idea is that if the user uses Fluxity, then we know we can pick a resource as the root of a tree, and all the resources that are managed by that Flux resource, like in this case, a Helm release, can be actually shown in a tree view. And this way, dependencies can be seen better, and it's easier to understand the state of the cluster. We are continuing, these were the big features that we would like to ship. Uh, 4 smaller but hopefully very impactful and important features follow. In 17.0, we shipped a deployment details page. This means that until now, deployments were only listed within the environment page, and when a deployment was waiting for an approval, it was very, very hard for users to find the specific deployment because there was a list of hundreds of deployments actually, and you had to find the right one to approve or to look into it. For the same reason, actually, we could not link to that deployment from a job view where people often ended up that this is a job that's waiting for an approval. Let's go to the approvals page. We introduced a separate deployment page in 17.0, and now we want to improve the user experience, the user flow, to easily get to that page, for example, from a job that's waiting for an approval. Similarly to deployment approvals, the API already supports represented as argument that allows users to approve a specific deployment approval as a group, as a role, as a specific user. This was not supported previously on the UI, and it even had a bug. We fixed the bug, but now every user can approve only once. We would like to lift this restriction and allow a user who might belong to multiple approval groups to approve as multiple groups, actually. And we are working towards that. This is a stretch goal already, but we'll see if we get there. The next two items are related to, again, deployment approvals and deployments, actually, but from a compliance perspective, specifically audit events. We recently realized that there is no audit event for a started deployment. So what we want to have is that when a deployment starts on a protected environment, we want to fire an audit event that can be used in compliance reporting. And similarly, we want to have audit events for deployment approved or deployment rejected events, again, for compliance reasons. The final two items that I want to share we don't want to ship, we likely won't be able to ship things here to our users, but these are larger bodies of work that we are working towards throughout multiple milestones. First, Kubernetes 1.30 came out in April 18. Very likely that's when I opened this issue. And for Kubernetes versioning support policy, we have a policy that once a new Kubernetes version comes out, 3 milestones later, we want to provide support for that Kubernetes version. And the first month, the first milestone is about investigation. How much work do we have to do to provide continued support for the most recent Kubernetes versions? This issue, as this is the first milestone, is about investigating Kubernetes 1.30 support for GitLab and to see if it will be a lot of work or minor maintenance only. The last item in the shared list that I want to speak about is very important for the whole year in our group, because we are working towards removing finally the certificate-based Kubernetes integration from GitLab. And the biggest missing feature to move forward with the removal of the certificate-based integration is to allow the agent to be used in situations where the Kubernetes cluster where the agent is installed cannot access the GitLab instance. And this happens, for example, in self-managed GitLab installations where GitLab runs in a private data center close to the office while the cluster is out in the public internet, and for whatever reason, they don't want to open up firewalls and set up VPNs and all of that stuff. So the cluster cannot see the GitLab instance. Until now, these users cannot really switch to the agent, and we decided to move as quickly as possible. So in the first half of the year, we would like to ship a feature that actually allows the GitLab cluster to start a connection to an agent running in a cluster, very similar to certificate-based integration setup. And once we can set up that connection, the agent and actually our users can benefit from all the features that GitLab already offers with the agent integration. This will likely take several milestones, not even one, not even two, but more. But this is one of our very, very high importance work, and we are still preparing the underlying CAS and Agent K part to actually implement it, and then comes the Rubyland and all of that part. This was our 17.1 delivery side of the kickoff, and followingly, Emily will present the discovery scope that we are planning with.
Hey, this is Emily Bowman. I'm the senior product designer on the environments team, and I'm here to kick off the UX plan for 17.1. So in 17.1, I'm still supporting a borrow request for import and integrate at 50%. So the UX plan will be slightly smaller this milestone, but I'll just go over some of the issues we want to get started on. So the first one is a problem validation study around what do users expect about their environment and their states. So this is more better to understanding what users expect of environment states and how to move forward with this. I don't expect this entire problem validation study to be completed in 17.1, but we want to get a good start on it, at least get the plan done as well as some of the questions. So discussion guide and potentially start recruiting some users to speak with. The next one, we want to fix some usability problems with the deployment approvals. So this one is our current deployment approvals UI for setting approval rules does not scale well in small viewports. So this is just fixing up the design of this in a small viewport so it doesn't look quite like this. The next one is filter the pods list by clicking on the pod stat. So this is working with that Kubernetes overview in the environment section, just allowing users to filter the list below when they're clicking on the stat. So giving better filtering to the pods using what we already have on the page. The next one is a follow-up from our job to be done OKR. This is getting the final 2 jobs for environments up into that YAML file and completing those. So this will be focused on reviewing the feedback we have and finalizing those jobs. And finally, we have another usability enhancement to better explain group inheritance within deployment approvals. So right now we do have a toggle for enabling group inheritance, but a lot of users don't quite understand what that is. So the purpose of this issue is to better allow users to understand what this toggle means and why they would click it. And that is it for the 17.1 UX kickoff. Thanks for watching.